What's up, everybody? Today, I don't know what today is. I don't know if it really even matters. I have kind of been waiting on a couple of things to come in to resume this whole electrical project. Just about everything's come in, and over the next couple of days, I'm going to be finishing this project. But the lighting in here stinks, and I want to do something about it. I was thinking about doing something about it, and then like out of nowhere, I just happened to have that box in my background, and Sunco reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in some more lighting? And I was like, yeah, I was actually just shopping for more of those lights right there. And so here we are. Boom, boom. Let's see if I can get more lighting in here without it sucking up my whole day. There's so much more light in here. It's awesome. Isn't it awesome? Maybe it would be fun to do a quick comparison. Before, after. Before, after. Wow, there's so much lighting in here. This is awesome. Thanks, Sunco, for reaching out. Really, really appreciate your support on this. If you guys are interested in these lights at all, they're like cheap. These are great. Links in the description below. All right, so for my own personal reference, I'm at ISO 1600. That's actually why it's 16 now. So the last couple of videos, I realized I went out of the order. So here's what I'm trying to do. I was trying to do a sequential series of videos that really broke down the details I was doing with this whole electrical project. And then we went on that little trip, and there's all this buzz about me flopping on the trailer. And all right, so back to the story. The first video we did the new battery install. This entire process has like evolved while I was doing it. I had a lot of comments in the first video talking about how I didn't do the battery terminal connections correctly. I wasn't really sure how to do those at the time, and was still in the process of doing some of that research. It's all been redone, and you'll see that not in this video, but in, I don't know if it's the next video or the video after that. But I've got a series of videos here, okay? So today, this video is gonna be showing power being brought to the back. The next video is going to be, I believe, the S-Pod install, the touchscreen. I redid all of that stuff. And then I believe the video after that is gonna be the dual battery kit install, because I've got a dual battery set up now from SDHQ that we go through the install, and then I get into detail on running some wiring and lighting, and just it's really, really detailed, and I wanted to put all of this stuff out there. And this may be boring to you, and if you are more into the trip style videos, no problem, you're not hurting my feelings by just skipping these videos. But if you're into trying to figure out how some of this stuff works and how I did it and the research, you know, whatever, these are the videos for you. I like this kind of content because for me, it's kind of evergreen. It gives me the opportunity to be able to go back and see what I did, but it also gives you the opportunity to see what I did and get some ideas. A lot of you know how to do this much better than me, but I have learned how to do a lot of this. I've gotten a lot better at it. You know, I would never charge any, I don't like doing this kind of stuff. I'd never do it for anybody else. But sometimes I feel like it's easier for me to just do it myself than try and find somebody else to do it for me. So I had a problem. I had a number of things that I needed to power in the back. The main thing is the fridge. I need to be able to have reliable power to the fridge. And then I wanted to have some auxiliary power options back there, like a 12-volt plug and a 12-volt USB plug. But I wanted to make this system expandable. Ultimately, what I was trying to accomplish is a reliable, expandable power solution in the rear of the vehicle. And in order to do that, I needed to bring power back in a way that was reliable and adequate for whatever future power needs that I had. In addition to that, I wanted to have a reliable infrastructure so that I could bring power from the back to the front as well, because I wanted to have a charging solution in the back so that I could charge, you know, my AGM batteries, because AGM batteries need to be topped off every now and then. It's not enough just to let the vehicle do it. Not from the 4Runner anyway. It doesn't put out enough power. And so the first thing I had to do is I had to rip all the old stuff out. The idea here is to run the wires all along the side here. That's the easy part, running it along the side right here, and then up to the front, you know, here, and up to the firewall. That's seemingly, it's the easy part. I mean, I've done it before. What I haven't been able to do successfully before is run them into this thing, right in here. I would like to run them inside here, but this thing just doesn't move. Can't get it to budge. It's just like one solid piece of... I hate taking this stuff down because I feel like it never goes back the way you want it to. Why? Why would you... Toyota, guys. I'm just going to ask you a really frank question here. Why on earth would you put screws on the underside of this to prevent people from being able to pop this out? Because, you know, I'll tell you this. You could not get to the screws without pulling this whole side panel off. I mean, I get maybe you're not making these things so that people can modify them, but it's like, come on, don't you think a couple of clips around the side would be enough? But I was thinking I could run the wires up through here. And I know a lot of people are like, why are you running a 4-gauge? That's too much. Yeah, it's probably overkill. But I just wanted a nice big fat conduit of power going from the back to the front. And I'm gonna have one wire, and it's gonna be running all the power to the back of the vehicle. And it's also gonna be running power back to the front from the solar. And I think I'm gonna hook a battery charger thingamajigger up here in the back too. I've got this up right here, so I'm gonna use this to run the wire back. Do I have access there? Yes, I do. What is that? What the heck? Well, if I heard something rattling around, it was probably my old Toyota center cap thing to my probably factory spare, I guess. I don't know. I'm always afraid I'm gonna break something off whenever I do this. This is for the ARB, and this other one was for the solar. Next on the agenda is to run the 4-gauge. Oh, by the way, I'm topping off my battery. Can you see that? This thing is going to be in the back, and that way I can see what the battery's at. I'd like to have one of those up front, but I guess I don't really need it because the S-Pod touchscreen thing has that. So what I was thinking I'd do is I'd tape this together and then tape it to the end of the other wires I'm about to pull out through the firewall just to... make sure I leave enough room to run this over. This is no longer going right here. This is going to go to the other side where the secondary battery is going to be, and I'm going to be running a whole bunch of cables just along there, that edge. That's where I'll run this with this and the black one with it, and they'll just go right over there. Okay, so now I just got to make sure I've got enough cable, because like I said a second ago, this is going to go all the way over here. I kind of like for these to be the same length, and actually, they are pretty darn close. By the way, I'm not really sure how I'm breaking up these videos. I'm not really sure how long everything, little component's gonna take. So it's definitely gonna be broken up into sections, but haven't decided how. I'll tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. My wife is actually out of town for the next, well, let's see here, 5 more days. Anyway, she's taking Evelyn and Lily with her, so I have the baby, so that kind of complicates things in terms of like working. So I'm just kind of like doing things during nap time, which she's actually awake right now, but Noah's watching him. I gotta go get dinner going here in a second. By the way, my wife is the best wife any man could ever possibly ask for. Ashley, if you're watching this, I love you, sweetheart. Yeah, I got it. Oh, how's the pan about to get through there? Yeah. much easier that was? Should still give me plenty of wiring to get all the way to the back, but I can always pull something. All right, folks, that's about all I got for right now. I gotta go get dinner going, and we'll see you whenever this comes back. How about that? Okay, so I've already measured this out, and it's gonna go back behind here, and it's gonna go right into here, do the positive next, but I've got these little doohickeys right here which fit perfectly on this, and which will not fit on this. I've got a bigger size. Okay. So, the technique that I'm about to show you how I crimped these terminal in connections onto the wire, it's not the right way to do things. These larger battery cable size lugs, there's a much better way, including soldering, solder, and I can't remember the exact search that I found the technique in, but basically you're taking the lug, putting it in a vise, melting solder into it, making it super duper hot, because these copper lugs, you can make them super hot, and then you basically put the wire down in there and the solder soaks up into it. Do your own research, don't follow my lead. I've gone back and checked these connections a couple of different times, and they still seem to be pretty solid and intact. However, I may at some point in time redo how those connections are. Right now they seem to be okay, so don't follow my lead. I mean, just do your own research and figure out the proper way to do this, because this isn't it. Stripping wire this big is a pain in the butt. Okay, so now I need to figure out where to mount this puppy. I've got these two mounting templates that come with it, and I think I want to put it right here, but I'm gonna cut the mounting templates out, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna put them in a couple of places. This is the bigger one. I want the bigger one with the voltmeter thingamajigger. I want it on this side, because I've got a smaller one, this one right here. The lighting's weird, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it over on this side, which is passenger side for the fridge. I mean, I could easily put it right here. There's nothing back there. I guess it would be fine. There is stuff back there. Actually, there's nothing back here. I don't want to put it up that high though. I'd like to put it right here, but there's metal, like support metal brace stuff right here. All right, so this is really the only choice I have right here. The only choice I can think of, at least for a unit this big, a smaller unit. Maybe I don't need this big one, but I wanted to have USB and 12 volt, and I wanted to have a voltmeter, so I'm just doing it. But anyway, this is gonna be the best location. I have clearance there, but not a lot, so I'm gonna bring it up just a hair, and then we'll call it. Taking a little bit extra of that stuff off just because I don't want it rubbing against the wires. I don't know if it really matters, but that way it's just not on them. All right, looks pretty good. Clean that up. fits really good. Look at that. Ah, it looks so clean too. Once I get power, this thing will be operational. It's all synced in. I just need to put a fuse in there. And this thing will go on here just like that. Look at that. All clean and pretty looking. All right. So, Sam's up. And I'm gonna go hang out with him for a little while. We'll come back out here and hang out with you when it's time for him to go take a nap. Ready? I'll see you in a little while. I don't know why I'm saying bye. Sam! What? What's wrong? Whoa, what's the matter? Is it nap time? You love touching gadgets and stuff. It's us over here, see this? You ready to take a nap so Daddy can get back to work? It's about that time. Usually nap around noon. Hey, don't touch the lens. Nope, nope. Bye. Bye. Daddy. Say Daddy. Daddy. What are you doing?
Watching TV.
Why don't you go outside and be productive?
It's cold outside and I'm sick.
It's only 18 degrees. What are you doing, Ben? All right, so next on the agenda, I need to get this thing put in. And I'm gonna put this over here, right over on this side. Passenger side, here. Yeah, it'll fit perfectly right there. Now I just gotta figure out how to make it happen. Take these out. So I'm sure that this thing is, I'm sure it's the same. I'm gonna have to freaking pry it out. Where's my... Oh, there's stuff in there. By the way, I talked to some other people who said that the only way to get this thing out is to break it like I did, break these tabs, because there's no other way to get it to it other than taking this whole thing off, which you'll never do. Okay, I don't really like this. I don't really like what I'm about to do. I have holes all over the plastic already. It's not that, it's that I wish there was a different way to do this, but I've explored everything. I've looked about running it up here along the roof line. And so what I'm doing, I need to run power from our fuse block over here to the plug. And so the best solution I can come up with is running it back out of the plastic here and then mounting it along the ridge and along the board I have here, and then into this box and over to the top. I wish there was a better way for me to do this, but bringing it up and over, it seems impossible because I'd have to bring it up and I'd have to get it all the way back down here. I don't know, maybe I could, but then I'd have to get it down and I don't know. It just seems like such a hassle. It's settled. I can't go through. This is the best I can do. This ground fits perfectly. pushing against the wires that are in there already, but that's fine. I mean, it's just wires and wires, and there's all solid connections. I mean, it's gonna be fine. Okay, so I have gotten the wires done. You can see right here, got the end of the wires done. About to plug it into the end of this thing right here, and then we will be all set. I just have to screw it on and then I'll be done. So in case you were ever wondering how this works, I didn't know before my first foray into this, but basically you've got the front side 12 volt USB power right here, which is actually also a 15 amp circuit breaker. So if it pulls more than 15 amps, it'll flip this thing off, I guess. There's also a 2 amp fuse here to keep the USB from pulling more than 2 amps. And then the back is simple. You just plug the positive into here and the negative into here, and that's it. It also recommends having, I don't know if it recommends or if it says, let's see here, suitable circuit protection required at source of power. So I think it means like don't run it right to the battery, which I'm not running it right to the battery. I'm running it to a circuit fuse block, whatever it's called. Okay, so I think I'm done with the back. I really do. I'm gonna go back through on Monday when I'm fresh, a little more fresh, and just look over everything and make sure everything's good. One last thing I want to do today is I want to hook up power. I want to make sure everything works. Okay, so this is what I did. All right, so we ran power from the front to the back. See? Through the firewall there. See? Through the firewall along this track thing, under there, and to the back. See? And then ran it up this thing and all the way back down there to right from there to here. And I am super duper excited about this because now I've just got it here. So if I want to hook up more USB or I don't know, anything else, plus I can isolate things real quick. If I want to shut down the power, I can always cut the fuses, or I'm going to have a switch in the front where I could just switch it there. I'm also really excited about the fact that these guys have a power. Oh yeah, I ran power over here. I'm excited that these guys have a power switch because that basically essentially means that I can kill power real easily and just leave it off, really, just to make sure there's no ancillary drain. All right, let's hook up those cables. I've got some connector thingamajiggers that I don't mind using. You like my sound effects? Maybe I should wear sunglasses like Casey Neistat all the time. That way you don't see me always looking at the monitor screen here. But honestly, I don't know how he lives because it's like it would be dark all the time. It would drive me crazy. So I actually need some. I need my blade to strip these. All right, here we go. Shall we see if it works? I'm nervous and excited, but it should be fine because it's just like wires going to stuff, right? Here's the moment of truth. 13.2, we got power. You wanna do an interesting experiment? Check this out. I'm gonna go watch this. Back there, it says 1302. I've got a voltmeter right here, and I've got it plugged into the battery charger thingamajigger, so it's still. But this says 1294 on these stud things. Well, actually, I've noticed that this voltmeter, I don't know if it's a voltmeter thing, but it reads low. All right, let's see what this says back here. 1292. And the voltmeter for Bluesy says 1299. I don't know. If you know, if you happen to know, leave a description. Leave a comment below because I'm curious. Does the Blue Sea thing tend to read high? Does this particular voltmeter, probably just some cheap Amazon deal, does it tend to read low? Thanks so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you found this video useful, if you liked it, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you tell everybody about it. Make sure you share it with your friends. If you guys have any comments or any feedback on how maybe I or somebody else could do a project like this even better, obviously leave that in the description below. And the next video coming up is going to be the installation of our new S-Pod little touchscreen. Super excited to share that with you. Oh, and thanks for the sweatshirt, Sunny's. Sunny's Outside. I think it's sunnysoutside.com. Thanks for sending it to me. Fits perfect. We'll see you next time.